No, don't say that. They will know you are a Chinese spy. Yeah, I am. I'm a spy for China. Like, that's the reason why Shinzo Abe, he loves Shinzo. He loves Shinzo Abe. Why? Because Shinzo Abe was one of the only Western aligned leaders that actually glazed them early on because he recognized, like, oh, if I give this guy praise and I respect him, he will give me good deals. He is he's a unstable madman, but he is so narcissistic that he loves when someone is like saying, yes, Mr. President, you're the best. And I think he heard that so much because I think Putin does that too. Like he likes authoritarian strongmen who are firm, but also are nice to him. And Xi definitely did that. So on the one hand, he respects the amount of power that they have, the command that they have over their people. He doesn't realize where that comes from. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild that, like, there are still neoliberals that just only care about this back and forth and, like, defending the DNC, I guess, no matter how bad they get. When you got grandmas and grandpas putting on fucking t-shirts, going out, taking it to the streets and protesting, demanding that the Democrats do something, demanding that the Democrats do anything. You can't be getting outflanked by your grandparents, chatter. Fix your fucking brain. You don't even have decades of propaganda that have socially conditioned you into being a loyal servant of the DNC. The DNC or the Democratic Party hasn't even given you enough amenities for you to do this. There are servants. They serve us. We don't serve them. You can't come in here and be like, the Democratic Party cannot fail. The Democratic Party can only be made to fail. We failed the Democrats. Idiot. You know? It's crazy. When you're getting outflanked by your parents, you got to really reconsider. Trump is obsessed with Xi. I mean, we knew that already. The AP is reporting for Jupiter, Florida, where president is spending the second day golfing. Captures Trump morning newspaper. Trump goes all in, bet with a heavy price of tariffs will pay off for Americans. China, yeah, try. Beijing retaliates with 34% duties as stocks crash. I'm not gonna lie, I'm obsessed with him too. Like, he's hot. He's got aura. That photo, the two photos that live in my mind is him pressing that button, and then the other one where he's in the room posted up with the party. Like, I love that photo. He just looks, I mean, this is a 72-year-old man, okay? He's a 72-year-old man, and the aura that he has in that fucking photo, it just lives in my mind. It has a permanent space. I wish Xi was my stepdad. Yeah, he's the dad that stepped up. Trump thinks Xi will call to beg for forgiveness. I think he's insane. Like, I think he misunderstood the glad handling and the praise that a lot of people gave him to manipulate him in the first term and maybe even in the second, with like a genuine fear that these people have over him. And it's kind of funny. I think, especially with Xi, like, that command doesn't exclusively come from a repressive state apparatus that's constantly telling people, like, you can't criticize the dear leader. That's, in his mind, he probably thinks that. But that command literally does not exclusively stem from social repression. It comes from good policies that people can see. If in your lifetime you have watched your country develop at a rapid clip, like, you're gonna like the government. And this is demonstrated in all of the Western polls that are conducted in China about approval ratings. You would also know this if you talk to any Chinese person as well, where the attitude that I hear all the time from Chinese people is They know there are certain things you can't say. They know that there are certain conversations that you can't have. And for an American, they're like, that's unimaginable, you know? They're like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And I agree. I don't disagree with you on that. But as long as you keep your head down in your work, you know that the government's got your back. That is what the attitude is overall. They live in ain't good. No wars ain't shit to complain about. They live in good. Ain't doing no wars. Ain't shit to complain about. Yeah, and development. I don't think a lot of Chinese minorities would agree with you there. Please stop, brother. Please. Has the CCP invited you to a talk or outreach? Is what happens in North Korea is so close, lol, in Russia. I think we delude ourselves into thinking that it's all fucking all stick, no carrot in these places. I would go so far as to say that there's probably a contingency of fans amongst Vladimir Putin for bad reasons and for the reasons that I demonstrated as well. Like in terms of managing the decline in the post USSR world and like rebuilding Russia, ruling with an iron fist, certainly. But there is like, or even the negative reasons, like rebuilding the Russian Empire, like that mentality. I think for a lot of boomers, especially, is solid. They're like, oh yeah, we're restoring the glory of Russia, right? Like that is probably another reason why people like Putin. But of course, his approval ratings are different than Xi Jinping, I think. There's definitely, it's like Erdogan. Putin and Erdogan are a little bit closer to one another. But ultimately, the reason why I was talking about this is because like Donald Trump doesn't understand that. I think a lot of Westerners don't understand that as well. They kind of recycle the same propaganda and believe it, but they believe the propaganda themselves. Like they think like, oh no, it's just because of the social repression that people are too scared to say they don't like Xi Jinping. And it's not the carrot and the stick working side by side, because social repression certainly exists in China. But there's also a lot of development. There's also a lot of development that makes people think, well, you know, there's certain things that you can't say, but look at Chinese prosperity. It's fucking fantastic. Now that's changing for the youth in China, from what I understand. Because they're also losing hope a little bit for their futures. That is definitely the overall vibes that I have at least seen. But the reality of the matter is, the carrot goes a long fucking way. The carrot makes the stick invisible. Okay? Trump is just going all stick, no carrot. Especially in a country like America, where treats are supreme and Americans have less of an appetite for social repression than the average Chinese person, in my opinion. They have no appetite for that shit. That's why I always stress the importance of talking about the issue of Palestine, even from a First Amendment violation standpoint, because maybe I'm too hopeful about my fellow Americans, but they don't really like that shit. I think China may be similar to the U.S. during the periods of upward mobility in the U.S. from the 40s and 60s. People trusted the government and felt things were getting better. As things stagnated in the 70s, people lost trust. We're starting to see the same in China as the decades of upward mobility have slowed. Yes. No, that is precisely what it is. Yes. Upwards mobility gives people a semblance of hope. That's it. It's that simple. When people think, oh, well, my needs are met, they're happy. It's not that complicated of a conversation to have. If you have something to look forward to, that's it. You're like, okay, well, you know, there's some downsides for sure. No country's perfect. It also creates a sense of pride in your nation, a sense of pride in like what it has accomplished on the global stage even. So I don't. It's hard to even broach the subject with Americans. Like, I've not been proud of this country. I can't recall a time when I did. From the outside looking in, I was like, man, America seems awesome. I want to go there so bad, but like, my expectations were not met. When I was overcome with the true nature of American reality, it just, the idea that Trump thinks that Xi Jinping will come and grovel directly stems from the niceties that he's experienced from Xi that he mistakes as like fealty. It's stupid. I think he's narcissistic and stupid. He's good at reading the room, but I think this is a major weakness for him. The major weakness is when someone is nice to him, he literally takes it at face value.
99%.
99%.
Yep.
So 99% of your goods, the price is going to go up.
Yes.
And
At least 10%.
at midnight, a 10% universal tariff went into effect. And next week, the U.S. will impose reciprocal tariffs on many of its biggest trading partners. Ahmad said she's already feeling the impact, with wholesalers charging her more for goods as they brace for the tariffs. When tariffs kick in, who ends up paying for it?
Unfortunately, that is the sad reality, is that we do have to impose this on the customers. I have to make money in order to pay my rent and pay my employees, pay my bills, to keep the store open and to keep being in business.
Trump argues his policies will help business